What's up, YouTube? Ryan Panny here. Hope you guys are doing reasonably well. Another quarter has come and gone, which means hopefully that your stock holdings paid you some nice quarterly dividends. Hopefully you are 3 months wiser and 3 months richer than you were back in the beginning of July. But of course, most importantly, this also means that it is time for another quarterly song segment. Favorite songs, I should say, not just any songs. This might be my best list ever. I'm serious. I'm so happy with the songs I ended up with here, and you guys are bound to find something on this list to check out. As always, no metal songs. I kind of separate the worlds of metal and the rest of music. And also, as always, you can find this playlist in Spotify form in the description here, and there's 10 honorable mentions added onto that as well. So be sure to check that out, and let's not waste any more time. Let's start off here with an amazing sex jam. A$AP Ferg with Dreams, Fairy Tales, and Fantasies. Just the title pretty much says it all. But man, this R&B tinged instrumental here is so smooth and so sensual and so nicely balances out Ferg's, typically crude and vulgar depictions of sexuality. And no, the fact that this happens to be a good song tacked on the end of a very bad project doesn't bother me at all, actually. And Brent Faiyaz, I think that's how you say his name, brings a lot to this track. He's an up-and-coming Maryland singer who's doing the whole Chance the Rapper full-on independent thing, and he's a great match for Ferg on here. Gillian Rose Banks, or simply Banks, delivered again on album number 3. I've been following her since the very beginning, and I just love to see her grow album to album. Godless in particular, I just love lyrically. It's this super dramatic take on what to me is basically just at its core a breakup song. But this theme of the deification of a significant other is a pretty powerful theme, because when you think about it, in a lot of serious committed relationships, for either one partner or the other, or for both, there is this sense, especially in the absence of religion, there is this sense of finding purpose, finding meaning, and finding something greater than yourself in your relationship, which is the kind of things that religious people, seek in God. So the metaphor is actually kind of appropriate. Blink-182 with Heaven, an instant highlight from their new record 9, although pretty much all of Blink's music is meant to be instant. It's kind of the whole point of their career. I've never been a big Blink fan at all. So anytime a new record comes out, I'm not really going to care about the record. I'm going to kind of cherry pick a couple songs. This one was no different. But Heaven immediately moved me. Powerful chorus melody, some sort of solemn chord choices underneath. It kind of reminded me of, if we're going to inevitably compare things to old Blink, it kind of reminded me a little bit of Stay Together for the Kids. Musically, at least. Blood Orange's Happiness. Wow. Devonte Hines' lyrics here are actually anything but happy. They're actually incredibly depressing, but that's actually what draws me to this song. It's only 2 minutes long, so it's just this real quick dose of overwhelming sadness that just engulfs you. Between the ethereal vocals and the haunting piano line, the production in general is just incredible on this song. Wow. A fitting soundtrack to more than a few rainy days in the future, I could imagine. Next up, Brockhampton with a title track from Ginger. I had to include these guys here. I love this title track particularly from a rhythmic sense, actually. I think the beat is really irresistible, and it has some great melodies in it as well. But most importantly about this track, you know what it showcases? It showcases the beauty of some auto-tuned, doctored-up vocals placed in the right context. And you got to especially note those subtle but brilliant vocal harmonies that sort of drive everything home on this song. It's tender, it's gentle, but it's also dynamic and has a lot of moving parts. Rather Be With You, off BJ the Chicago Kid's excellent but kind of overlooked new record 1123. Honestly, it was really hard to pick one track from this record to showcase here, but Rather Be With You is just so damn romantic. Obviously BJ's silky voice is front and center here, but I gotta say, production-wise, I love the tasteful use of electric guitars here, which, look, saxophones are great. We all love saxophones, but electric guitars are definitely an underappreciated instrument in the musical context of anything that's trying to be sensual or romantic. I think right here they make a big difference in this song. Another one for you and your lucky significant other, although this is a slightly different context than the A$AP Ferg one. Charli XCX with the ballad White Mercedes. Her falsetto here is just stunning. It's absolutely gorgeous when paired with those strings in the background. And this song is another example of when a slightly doctored up vocal performance can still elicit very powerful emotions. Next we got Claro, a really talented young singer-songwriter from Massachusetts who I literally got into on this song, Sofia. It's just fantastic. I mean, the guitars and the instruments in general do give off a strong indie vibe, but the lo-fi elements and her supple and tender vocals kind of give her a lane all of her own. I think the whole Immunity record that she put out is actually really good. Joell Ortiz, Sip Slow. Fucking banging boom bap instrumental on this one, courtesy of Apollo Brown. Ortiz is absolutely on fire with these last couple projects. This new one, Monday, is fantastic, and less than a year ago was Mona Lisa, which actually had Apollo Brown producing the entire thing. I mean, two excellent projects in less than a year. He's just one of my favorite lyricists in the game right now, hands down. This is just an incredible song to ride to, and honestly, I've only technically spent probably 2 weeks with this realistically, but I already know all the words, which just goes to show how memorable Ortiz is, just how much command he has over the art form. I'd say between him and Royce da 5'9", you can make a case that the dissolution of Slaughterhouse was a good thing, because look at these solo projects that we're getting. Knife Party's Death and Desire comes next, a great sort of house-infused dance song. I like the vocals on here actually, which is a rare thing for me in this style of music. And I think that the transitions in and out of drops are really smooth. But at the end of the day, this is pretty much like a guilty pleasure party track for someone who doesn't really party anymore. But nevertheless, it has served a purpose in my life, so it's on here. I listened to it a lot this quarter. Lana Del Rey with the ultra smooth end of summer jam, Doing Time. There are a lot of kind of typical Lana ballads from her excellent new record, Norman Rockwell, that I could have included here, but I really like this one for being the sort of swaggering, hip-hop infused, stylistic detour that it is for Lana. And I really like the way it's mixed actually, with the bass line of all things providing a good chunk of the melodic firepower. Okay, and here is, I guess, the one top 40 song that made the list here. Post Malone and Young Thug with Goodbyes. So I had some really fucking annoying car trouble in early July. So basically it left me driving around for a week or two, this really shitty loner where I didn't have my usual phone hookup. So I was stuck with the radio for a couple weeks. And I gotta say, Goodbyes was the only song on the radio that I enjoyed. And genuinely enjoyed, not even relatively. And look, I love Malone singing on here, the melodies are really strong, but Young Thug is the perfect out-of-the-box feature. Like listening to this instrumental, I would not have thought of him at all. He'd be one of the last names I would have considered. But he fits like a fucking glove. He just finds the perfect little spaces in this instrumental for his colorful, erratic flow and just fucking crushes this appearance. So chalk up another W for Mr. Post Malone. Rick Ross with Vegas Residency. You know, Port of Miami 2, a lot of hype around it. Not nearly as good as 2017's excellent Rather You Than Me album, which I of course reviewed glowingly on this channel and thus expected a lot out of Port of Miami 2. But I will say that Vegas Residency is kind of a luxurious remnant of the Rather You Than Me era. I find it absolutely gorgeous production-wise. And Ross has this one line in particular about basically people who are doing less than him sitting at home watching pictures that he posts. And I found that it really resonated from an aspirational perspective. Not that the goal is ever to breed envy necessarily, so much as the goal is to always be making moves, always be doing cool shit, just so as to avoid being that person sitting at home fantasizing about the life that they wish they could be living. And a lot of Ross's music carries themes like this of just living out exactly what you want, and obviously it takes on kind of a shallow materialism and consumerism in Ross's music, but it does resonate with me on a deeper level. I think the idea of working hard and achieving things so you can do the cool shit that you always wanted to do instead of sitting at home doing nothing, I think that's something that we can all relate to. The glorification of the hustle, I think, is one of the best things to come out of hip-hop culture, period. Sturgill Simpson, Make Art, Not Friends. I mean, it's all in the title already. Do I need to even explain anything more? Just a lyrical gem that does a great job depicting the very real downsides of a life in the spotlight. But not just that, just in general, the life of any professional musician who finds his career sort of consuming this once pure love of creating. And in this song, it finds him kind of coming full circle back to that. And finally, I gotta give Taylor Swift some love here for the defiant feminist anthem, The Man. Super catchy, even more woke. I mean, Taylor Swift has been so shameless recently in her cashing in on social justice issues, some of them kind of after the fact, like the whole gay marriage thing. But she's been so shameless about it that I can't even knock it. This is just a great song, and it's very cheeky and very feminist and very biting, and I'm sure the Swifties will just eat it up. And jokes aside, Lover is by far Taylor Swift's best album, like by a mile. There are several songs on here that I've been really, really enjoying and coming back to a surprising amount. And that'll do it. I hope this turned you guys on to some great new music and maybe great new artists that you otherwise might have missed, and simultaneously gave you a little window into what my soundtrack has been since early July. And again, be sure to check the Spotify playlist down in the description for some honorable mentions as well. There's 10 more songs on there. And as always, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video and are not yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so by clicking right over here, as well as checking out any of the other music-related content that I publish here on a weekly basis. Really appreciate you watching, liking, disliking, commenting, just interacting in any fashion. Twitter, Instagram handle @RyanPanMusic. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys soon.